Hello, today we will be going over Lunar Nightmare's entire development document, a little bit at a time. This is going to be a long video, but it is made for people who are interested in the game and to learn more about it. So, with that being said, I will leave the gameplay running through while I'm discussing this. But without further ado, I will start. At the very beginning, you get the intro where it tells you a little bit about the game. And it gives you a generalized idea. Then after that, it brings you to the character creation screen where you get to pick the background of your character along with many other options. At that time, you do not need to pick a character class. That comes later on. However, when you do start, you get 40 base stats, or 40 points to put towards your base stats. Your base stats are Constitution, which deals mostly with your health and regeneration of health. Shadow deals with stealth and shady activities. Um, Dexterity, which is used for reflexes or avoiding a trap or dodging attacks. Strength, which determines how hard your strikes hit or how much you can push something. Charisma helps you persuade others and unlocks more options in dialogue. Intelligence, intelligence measures how much book smarts you have. Helps with knowledge on current price, such as auction house and appraisal skills. Wisdom means how much street smarts you have. Helps people who are trying to manipulate, helps defend against people who manipulate you. Along with it helps with spellcasting. Luck, how much luck you have, the more luck you have, the better your rolls are. It was an experimental stat that did really well. It enhances everything, but at a very minor amount. Now, after you do that, you will see next to it, it has player expertise. These points go towards an expertise, and there is tons of different ones. I will not be going over them in this video, but if you wish to know them, I will make a separate video for them. But the list is that long that I would have to make a separate video. Okay, now let's move on to the Now, after that, you then pick your the armor type between leather, cloth, and metal. Um, Cloth is deals a lot more spell work, where metal deals a lot more tanking, and leather is in between it and usually used for stealth. Now let's move on to the weapons. There is a multitude of different weapons, each one with its own plus or minus. At this time, you pick your base armor and your base weapon, name your character, and you should be all set to go. Now, with all that being said, you're now in the game. Let's go over some of the damage types that you will see in the game. First one is blunt. This is caused by striking an NPC with a melee weapon without a blade, such as a mace or a hammer. Piercing is when the weapon or armor has spikes on them, they can cause piercing damage. Bow and arrows will cause pierce unless it is blunt arrows, so that is the bonus for the bow and arrow. Slice is the most basic type of damage, and many items, including weapons, will cause this type of damage. Melee, a generalized damage type that is used when it does not fit a typical type. Perfect example would be punching something. Frost. First magic type is frost. Generally speaking, most items that are able to cause frost damage can also cause frostbite. Holy. Basic damage useful to lawful or good aligned casters, because holy damage is extra powerful when fighting chaos or evil aligned characters. Flame damage is typically dealt from either a spell or enchanted weapon. Note that most things that cause flame damage also can burn you as well. Shadow. The damage type is a favorite among thieves and people who use stealth. Water damage is caused by spells and weapons and feats. When a target gets hit with water, they also become wet, which makes them more susceptible to lightning magic. Demon, a very specialized damage type. This type is brought into the world by a horde of demons who have tried to take over the realm. That is more late game. Then you have Unholy, being the right opposite of Holy. Damage extra powerful against the lawful or good aligned. And the last one is Magic, a generalized damage type for non-melee striking. Weapon and armor system. Armor and weapon are made up in a force aspect, which is its base aspect. Second is the enchantment. Third is the enhancement. And fourth is sockets. The base aspect is just a normal piece of gear and gives the base stats. The enhancement is a physical addition or extra fortification that add additional stats to the base stats. The enchantment is a magical aspect of the armor that causes special effects and statuses. Equipment sockets allow the person to embed a stone into the armor to provide a small boost. It is important that the character can only have one of each type of armor or weapon. If you wish to create a new version of an item, you must first clear all current modifications on it. It is also good to note that equipment sockets require item level to be at least 4 before you can put gemstones in it. Obtaining gemstones, the way to do that is you can go into the mines to search for a gemstone. The chance of finding a gemstone are based on your luck. So here's where luck plays a point. For every point of luck, you have a 10% chance to find a gemstone. Luck that is 10 or above is automatic 100%. Once you have confirmed finding a gemstone, you must roll to see what gemstone you got. For every point of luck above 10, you have a 5% chance of finding the gemstone you want. At luck of 30, you can pick what stone you find with a 100% success rate. Please keep in mind that searching for gemstones can only be done in a town mine and not in the wilderness unless you happen upon a mineral vein. If you do happen to find a vein, then you can destroy the vein and use the same calculations as you would at the mine. However, once you destroy the vein, it cannot be used again for a long time. Now, armor gets automatic bonuses depending on the type. There is 6 types. The first type is cloth, which gives you a quarter boost to wisdom, a quarter boost to intellect, a quarter boost to luck, and a quarter deboost of constitution. So that's 25% wisdom, 25% intelligence, 25% luck, and negative 25% constitution. Leather is 50% dex, 25% strength, and negative 25% wisdom. Metal is 50% constitution, 25% strength, and negative 25% intelligence. Now we move on to enhanced cloth, which is 25% wisdom, 25% intelligence, 25% luck, and negative 20% constitution. Enhanced leather is 50% dex, 25 strength, negative 25 wisdom. Enhanced mental is 50% constitution, 25% strength, negative 25% intelligence. And that's all your different armor bonuses. Now that we got the armor out of the way, let's go over the weapons. The daggers give you a 50% dexterity, a 25% boost in battle, and a negative 25% in constitution. Swords give you 75% more strength, with no negative effect. Claymore gives you plus 50% constitution, negative 25% dexterity, and positive 25% strength. Whips cause 50% dexterity, 25% intelligence, and negative 25% constitution. Mace is 50% constitution, 25% strength, negative 25% intelligence. Staff is 50% intelligence plus 25% wisdom minus 25% con. Spear is plus 50% strength plus 25% constitution, negative 25% dex. Bow is 50% dex, 25% wisdom, negative 25% constitution. Wands is 50% wisdom, 25% intelligence, negative 25% strength. Runes are 25% charisma, 25% luck, 25% strength, negative 25% constitution. Tarot is plus 25% constitution, plus 25% luck, plus 25% shadow, and negative 25% strength. It is note that whips will always have some type of lashback, be it pulling towards you or pushing them away as a special ability. So it either has knockback or pull towards. Now, I'm going to get into some of the endgame mechanics that I think it's good to know, and that is the class sets. Now, after you max out your character, or you're at least high level, you can start finding dice, different types of polyhedral dice scattered throughout the lands. What you do is you can first, there are books out there that you can find that will give you hints on where to find these dice. Now, the dice appear for every person, so therefore it's not being fought over. Once you find it and pick it up, that's it. You never find it again. But there are books that detail where they're located. Then you go and pick it up. Once you pick it up, you throw it into a special wall behind a D&D hut. After you do that, a fairy will pop out of the well and tell you that for throwing the item in, your wish is granted. For throwing the lost dice in, your wish is granted, and they give you a piece of a Hero of Old's armor set. That is how you get the different hero armor sets, and that is very late game. Um, so that's something to look forward to later on in the game. Now there are 4 ways to level up your items. Items that level up are your weapons and your armor. The first way is lunar phase, which is a fancy way of saying how long you keep it equipped, how many days you have it equipped. It goes by the moon cycle. Kill count is just like it sounds, how many people you have killed with that weapon. Next is healing aura, and it is how much health have you healed yourself or other players while wielding that weapon. This is good for healers or casters who do the healing to specialize in it. The last one is bloodbath, which is how much damage you're dealing to players or damage you're dealing to different NPCs. With that, it's not the same as kill count, which you have to kill. This one goes by how much you damage, so therefore you don't have to actually make the kill, it still will count. Now, I think it's important to note that there will be pop-up notifications like you see in the video before you when I'm picking up different items. But I have planned to have those notifications when you enter a zone, if you obtain an item, you have a timer. I'm also going to have some electrical, uh, which the electrical channel system is still a work in progress, but there will be at least 5 different color wires. That way they can overlap each other, and I'm taking inspiration from the redstone on Minecraft on how to make that. I'm also taking inspiration on the electrical parts of Arc, and as Arc was built with the same engine, that's probably the way I'm going to use it. Now, hopping into objects in the world is the next point that I would like to make as well. There are going to be many objects in the world that you can interact with. Uh, some are as simple as turning water on and off in a faucet. It really does nothing for you. It's there for cosmetic reasons, but it gives a more realistic feel to it. There are spellcast objects, which are objects that when you use, they cast a spell. Um, they are particularly useful for if you want to trigger it and then make sure that when you trigger it, it hits a NPC that you want killed or something, or you can walk around them. Um, there are many recovery objects as well between picking up and the health stations. You should have a semi-easy way of figuring out how to increase your health, um, especially with the pickup syringes that you can use at a later time. Now, it is important to note that some objects do give you a buff, or some actually give you a curse. Cursed objects give you an item that you can only get rid of when you find its home, and while you have it, you are cursed. Usually it's just a minor debuff, so it's not game changing, but it can be rather annoying if you start to collect them and not get rid of them. There is computer system which have a smart AI attached to it. Um, it will basically work similar to Siri and stuff. And you can integrate it with your own body um, to get software updates, basically. Uh, as well as you have a similar thing with the map where you read a map and it adds that map location to your map. Um, so there's advanced computer system, followed by an advanced laser system. Now, there are towers, and they shoot different colored bullets, and the different colors do different things. It's important to note and pay attention to A, their patterns, and B, to try and see if they're hackable. If they're hackable, you can turn them off or even change the color of the bullets and the direction that the bullets are flying in. Now, camera systems could deserve their very own video here shortly, but let's go over a few. First one I want to go over is pre-built security towers. They're already in place, but they need activated or bought in some type of fashion. They can also switch out the lenses, giving you special video feeds of certain types. Like you can put a heat lens on it, and it will see everything as heat sense. These are unclaimed security towers that you find out in the open, and once you claim it, you do have to defend it. Otherwise, the NPCs will try and take it back from you. Hack cameras are found throughout the world, and however, they already have an owner, and therefore you need to hack them. You can still fool the system with proper precautions if you'd rather just not deal with them. The next one is mechanical type creature cams. That is when you get to see through mechanical creature eyes. The ones right after that are like the biome type creatures, half robot, half human. You can see through one eye, and meaning you only get one vision. Um, Next one is canned plants. These are plants that literally you can integrate into your suit and it will show it as a regular camera. However, it is living and therefore can actually take actions such as eating someone when they get too close to it. Now, just like any other game, you will come across containers of all sorts. You can search them for items such as scrap items or pick up, health and such. Creature objects in the game are objects that you think are usable objects, but really they morph into a creature. The very famous one would be the mimics. And yes, there are mimics. Everything is a mimic. No, I'm just kidding. But there are really mimics in the game. Now, I've already went over the picking up items. However, there is a ton of items. Almost every type of scrap item you can find in the wild as a pickup item as well. Elemental shards are the same thing, but you find them out in the world and you can pick them up. They play a huge part in crafting, giving the elemental crafting to objects. Next is brain objects, and these are objects that are linked to a creature, uh, and it allows the creature to memorize your attack patterns and try to avoid or dodge it. And the more you interact with it, the more it learns from you. However, if you destroy the brain, they lose all that data, and then they're like fighting any other creature. Now, the next thing I would be going over is the crafting stations. However, we are already at 22 minutes, and I would like to end it for right now, and I will add another video later.